What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Catch you outside?
Savage. It's time for the stars to take the stage. One Piece. 1022 is out. Let's talk about it. Shout out to the boy Marco, am I right? A few quick updates, guys. You asked, and I've answered. We now have certified drip.
Certified drip.
Yeah. Merch is available. A shelf should appear below the videos, soon. But in the meantime, the link is in the description. If you act now for the next 2 weeks, first 2 weeks of the store, everybody gets 15% off. All right, we've got a couple of designs. We have Savage shirts, Savage bags, all of this. I designed it so that, it's meant for the classy Savage, right? Because that's what we are. We're classy Savages. And we've got, the bro, look, he got the heat on feet shirts.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
And also heat on feet aprons for, the Sanji fans that want to chef it up in the kitchen with a heat on feet apron. I definitely picked up one for myself. I got a bunch of merch coming. I wanted to design stuff that I felt, good wearing and all of that. So that's fun. Live action part 6 is out. You can go watch that. It's on Death in One Piece, who the live action can kill without consequence, right? So that's fun. So let's get into this chapter, right? We got some W's this week. Oda's going to take an opportunity to catch us up to speed on a lot of different things next chapter. That would make sense to me. That's what I would do. I would give us a little taste of Killer versus Hawkins.
Another one.
Zoro. He's got to bust out of the pack.
Another one.
What's going on with Marco and King? Still want Perospero to interfere.
Another one.
But ultimately, the direction of everything is going to be pushing us towards finishing that Sanji fight.
Another one.
Everybody comes for the early spoilers, and those early spoilers were 2 weeks in advance. What did I say? I said that we were going to get Killer versus Hawkins. I said that this was going to be the chapter where Zoro busted out of the pack, and wasn't it glorious? R.I.P. to the Zoropack, 2021 to 2021. We'll miss you.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here.
Oh, in the arms of the angels, fly away. I can't wait to see that animated. Zoro busting out of that pack, Marco sliding away and saying, "Oh, you know what? I was gonna fight you, but I'm gonna let these guys handle it," which is almost a confirmation to me that Marco has future sight, right? Because he was able to see that Zoro was about to bust out of the pack and attack. So he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So as far as my headcanon is concerned, Marco's got future sight. Marco was flexing so hard this chapter, and was actually, my favorite part of it. Just, it's like those moments in Marineford when Whitebeard was like, "Don't let that kid die, Marco." It's that stuff that's like, when another character puts respect on another character, shows that they believe in that character. I eat that stuff up. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A lot of people asking me, where's Carrot? And, I gotta say, don't you guys know? Are you paying attention? Carrot's in Syrup Village.
Savage.
No, with Nekomamushi pushing Perospero outside, Carrot could actually get up and play a role in that as well. We'll see. I just like the Nekomamushi hit Perospero with the Catch Me Outside. But he was so close to fueling my Perospero versus Sanji agenda, and I thought we were going to get another moment of Perospero, Sanji dodging an attack, like the jelly bean, dodging the arrow and all of that. But, it's funny, right? Because Perospero keeps coming at everybody saying, but I didn't kill Pedro. Like, he blew himself up. Which is sound logic. But then he's coming with Vince Smoke Sanji. If you just married Pudding, we wouldn't have been in this alliance. Bro, you were literally going to shoot him in the face at the wedding. There was no marriage. What are you talking about? Oh, man. There were a lot of weird things like that. I loved what Evo brought out in the chat about... he said, who's dumber? Raizo for... for talking and letting Fukurokuju catch him, or Fukurokuju not noticing that Raizo was the real Raizo was the only one with bandages, right? How about Raizo for not putting bandages on all of the clones that he was making? He's obviously replicating his clothes. The bandages are on his face too. That's got to be a possibility. So, I don't know. We did get a bunch of stuff with Raizo and Fukurokuju. It seems that Fukurokuju can use Life Return or Seimei Kikan with his earlobes. That's the closest thing that I could relate it to. This is Kumadori from CP9. The way he used his hair is seemingly the same way that he is using his earlobes to fight. So is Rokushiki in Wano? And I mean, Kumadori did have like a very kabuki style to him, whereas it's not impossible to believe that he was from Wano. So there could be some sort of a connection there. In the Viver cards, we did learn that Raizo does in fact have a devil fruit, the roll fruit, right? The Maki Maki no Mi. We speculated this back in 993 because the attack that he used against Kaido was just too ridiculous to have not been a devil fruit. Now, in this, Fukurokuju gets savage and basically calls him out, saying that he's a bad ninja. And essentially, I'm feeling that he's coming from the perspective of Raizo simply relying on his devil fruit and not actual ninjutsu, which is what Fukurokuju is using, which also sort of just seems like Rokushiki. I do not think that Fukurokuju is going to kill Raizo. The only way that Raizo is going to die is if there's some outside interference. If Raizo dies, that means that all of the people that went into the future will die. But if Raizo lives, then he'll be an outlier, and I like the idea of there being an outlier more than that. Over here, we have been team they are dead. Okay? The only thing I've ever said is that Kinemon might have some final words, but even that I'm skeptical on. When Ashuradoji died, I said that man was dead. When Kiku died, I said that girl is dead. When Kinemon died, I said this guy's dead. Kanjuro, this guy's dead. And there's a lot of people out there that ascribe to no body, no death. My boy JD Legend, of course, is one of those people. And he was very against Ashuradoji being dead. Well, here's your body, my man. And he is sitting in a pool of blood. Talking about certified drip.
Certified drip.
Inuarashi is next. We know this. And he's not looking great in this chapter. We only get a little glimpse of him, but he's still not looking great. The Killer versus Hawkins part is probably the most interesting bulk of the chapter for me. The end is amazing. It's the best part. But the most interesting and intriguing part to talk about is the Killer versus Hawkins area. I don't know when or how Hawkins was able to get to Kid to, do whatever he does with his powers. We really need an explanation on exactly how that works. But this is an interesting development, and honestly the best thing that Hawkins has done in the series, creating this ultimatum for Killer. Kill me, you're going to kill Kid. So that's interesting. This is the fight that I wanted back in, I think it was the Rosetsu district, when Law went up against Hawkins, who is a, seemingly a natural counter to Hawkins, right? Because he can switch hearts, he can switch bodies and all this stuff, and here's Hawkins who's actually pulling other bodies and all of this and sort of doing weird, twisted version of Law's fruit, essentially. We never actually got that fight. But here, Hawkins is still playing by the same dirty rules, and this is interesting. I like this. Now, a lot of people have heard me say that I think it would be very interesting if Kid dies, right? A lot of people think Killer's going to die. There's some foreshadowing for it, and it's still very possible, but from a thematic standpoint, I would prefer if Kid dies, giving Killer the, this, it's just more rich. The story is better for it if it's just a better twist. I can go into why probably in a separate video and really sort of lay into all of that. So during the stream, a lot of people brought up the idea of Killer cutting off Hawkins's left arm. And I love this idea, right? Because Kid does not have a left arm, so it's not going to hurt Kid. So that's an interesting way to counter all of it. I would honestly prefer if somehow Law does actually get involved in that fight and does some sort of, shambles trickery with hearts and all of this, and that's how it ends up working. But either way, I think that Killer's going to find some way around it because he is an intellectual. He's the one that knew how to counter Apu, so I think that, he'll be able to do something very interesting. And I'm much more interested in that fight than I am with Kid and Law versus Big Mom, which, isn't necessarily going to get too fleshed out, I think, until after Queen and King are defeated, right? Because there's a hierarchy to these things. One more thing about Killer versus Hawkins, right? The brutality of that Punisher going through Hawkins, but then coming out Kid, that only leaves me to say
that Kid is confirmed above Zoro, right? Because when Zoro got hit by Killer, he fainted. He needed to get patched up by Hiyori. He was out. But Kid took this like a champ. He didn't need Law to come in and help him. He just got stabbed with a Punisher, and he's getting right back up. He's about to fight Big Mom. Kid above Zoro, confirmed.
Speaking of Zoro, ZKK boys are eating, right? Zoro kills King. Yeah, Zoro's fighting King, people. That's what most people wanted. Although I do believe that the fight is going to be a tag team between Sanji and Zoro, going back and forth. Zoro fighting Queen, Sanji fighting King, vice versa. Zoro fighting King, Sanji fighting Queen. Because it's just too chaotic on the live floor. And this affinity that King has for fire is going to, I think, could play into Sanji as well. And what Marco said, that King is part of an elemental race that used to live on top of the Red Line. We know the Marijoa is on top of the Red Line as well. So it's possible that King was part of his race was part of a great cleansing. We know that the world government likes to do those. And it's possible that their lineage factor was used for creating things like maybe an artificial Mera no Mi. Maybe other people in his race have access to different elements. If devil fruits are man-made, maybe that's part of what helped make that. Is that what Judge was utilizing their bloodline and put that into the Vinsmokes? Is that why Sanji has an affinity for fire, even though he's considered a failure? I think it's just because he couldn't tap into his element until later in life. So whereas the other kids were probably able to use it soon, the electricity, etc., like that Niji has, and so on. That's my headcanon. Whether I'm wrong or whatever, I don't really care. And but it'll be interesting when we get more information like that. So I think that a conversation between King and Sanji in relation to his fires might be interesting. 1023 spoilers. The stars are supposed to take the stage, right? Oda would be a liar if 1023 wasn't all about the stars taking the stage. And since it ends with a 3, it makes sense that it would be Sanji focused, right? We're going to have Sanji and Zoro taking on King and Queen, double teaming, maybe bouncing off of each other, some good conversations. Izo and Kawamatsu are closing in on the live floor. We'll see who maybe they're about to take on. There's a chance that we'll get the start of Nekomamushi versus Perospero. Maybe a little more dialogue, see where they landed outside. But mostly, I think at least 80% of everything is going to be focused on the live floor. And that means that we could see some Drake, because we haven't seen Drake in a while, and we know that he's around there as well. I would love for Inuarashi versus Jack. It makes sense to, really tie up and set up a lot of the loose ends that are going on before really diving into this. But I expect Sanji and Zoro versus King and Queen to be a multi-chapter fight. So, we may be able to get all of that. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. As always, if you like the content, there's a button that says subscribe. There's also a thumbs up thing that likes, and it lets other people see the video. So, always appreciated when you hit those buttons. Reminder that there is merch with 15% off for the next 2 weeks. So if you like anything in there, have at it. I'm excited to wear some of this stuff. I want to thank you for your support as always. All right, shout out to the new members. Okay, Mariko, Yuge, Lemillion, John Erickson, Lucky Man, and Vashad Fincher. We had some people rejoin: Overdue Alexandru Parfine, Dak, Mark Creasy. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to everybody that supports the channel. Thanks to everybody that's already bought stuff in the merch and told me about it.
Certified.
We've had 35 sales already. So these things are flying, and I love it. I'm not making much commission on them. It's mostly just for you guys and, for me to have things to wear, and I want to give you guys stuff to wear. But this is fun. This is fun. I'm excited for 10/23, and I will see you guys for it next Friday. Later, guys.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.